Welcome to Deep Thought, the coming caste system in America. You know what? It's interesting. Just the way I do things. I can just really pick up a magazine article or a book, and it's amazing. It's like certain ideas will pop out to me, and it can be from several different sources, right? Now, anybody who knows me very well will know I pick up magazines like some people pick up meth. Seriously, because I'm addicted to really getting information, right? I'm really addicted to information because information becomes knowledge, and then knowledge once applied is really power. So, and I always just want to know what's going on. And sometimes I'll read about random stuff. That's been me all my life, you know. But I remember I picked up a copy of the Atlantic magazine, very good magazine. It had an article, "The Birth of a New Aristocracy," right? And it's the author was talking about he was talking about the top 10% of people, but not that top 0.01% of people who, people call the 1%, right? He was talking about that next tier, which is the 9.9%, and he was saying how they were becoming a new aristocracy. And I was like, oh, okay, I was getting the money thing, but then he made a interesting point about physical traits, because he was talking about health and height and stuff like that. And I was like, And he used the word assortative mating. And assortative mating basically says, you mate somebody on your level, right? Your same social class, something like in that group. And some people would even take it further and just say, someone who is similar to you physically, right? And okay, that's cool. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Because he even used the term speciation. It was becoming a new species. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, because I've done something on ethnogenesis. And ethnogenesis, for those who don't want to check out the video, is just a process in which a specific group comes to be recognized as separate. Now, there's active ethnogenesis and passive, right? But one of the more interesting things is the physical aspect of ethnogenesis, not just the culture and everything, but how a group of people will look, right? And he alluded to the look of the new aristocracy, right? It's like, oh, okay. So I can get with that. Because I had mentioned to a couple people, like that members of the black upper class, known as the boule, even though that's not quite accurate, but that's what popular usage has become, actually look physically different from most black people. Like, you can look at somebody and say, oh, yeah, they probably in that black upper class. I swear, it's a definite look. It's a definite look, right? But, getting back to this coming caste system, there was a second book I got. It was by Andrew Yang, the founder of Venture for America, and I believe he's running for president. But he wrote a book called The War on Normal People: The Truth About America's Disappearing Jobs and Why Universal Basic Income is Our Future. And I was like, oh, okay, let me get this stuff, like meth to me, y'all, like meth. All right, so I was reading it, and he said now this dude is in that 9.9%, probably in the 0.01%, really. All right, even beyond this, even beyond the 9.9, because this dude is a millionaire, right? And this dude was sharp, and it's an interesting thing he said, right? He was looking at the children of his peers, and it was like, wow, they're really beautiful. It's like, It's like, wow. And I'm gonna tell you what. And this is something I picked up, right? You have a common caste system, and it's actually, I really believe it's going to be based not just on economics, but also on physical appearance. Like, for example, I go to where I live, and some people, if they live in Harford County listening to this, they probably know about the Joppatown Flea Market or Amish Market. I mean, it's overall, the Amish just have a space there, and anybody who knows about it knows their biggest draw there are the Amish. Like, if you go there on a Sunday, the place will be like a ghost town. But you go there on Saturday, Thursday through Saturday, I mean, the place is hopping, and, people in there, right? And lately, I had noticed this before, but I started paying attention. It's a big difference in the people who are at that flea market, and then maybe the people in the area I live in, which is more affluent. And so there's more of that rising aristocracy in my area than it is in that area with the flea market. Way more. It's like almost a physical difference in the people, right? And these are primarily white people, but there's a very strong physical difference. Like, in the area I live in, I'm hard pressed to see a tattoo on a female, even a male, but even a female. Whereas in this other place, it's a different look, right? And this caste system, I'm starting to see that's going to be one of the things that limits upward mobility between the castes. Because one of the more effective ways to keep classes apart is not a physical thing. I mean, it's not the class thing or money thing, because you can't really tell how much any money is making, but a physical thing. It really is. People don't think about that. I mean, if you really think about ethnic groups and different ethnic groups, it's more of a physical thing. It's more of a physical thing, and then you get a group that gets to the top, so to speak. They'll keep you out. Like, you definitely see this in the white community more than people realize. You see it in the black community, because I previously mentioned the quote-unquote boule, right? Like I said, you can notice a physical difference, and part of that comes from that old paper bag test. But one of the things, when I see if I see a black man, right, maybe light brown to light complexioned, and like a greater hair that's more closer to the white phenotype or European phenotype, and then just his carriage and everything, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a physical thing. And I've observed that too in other, like, Hispanic culture, in Hispanic groups rather, Asian groups to a little bit of an extent. And this is just what I've been able to, just observe. But in this country, it's going to be a situation where once people are in a certain caste, they won't be able to move out of it. It's going to be similar to India, because it's already tough now. And not just, you got the physical thing, but you also got the economic thing, and how people look for jobs. Because really, and this is one of the things the Atlantic article covered, many of these top jobs, I mean, they're going to get recruited. Somebody's going to be recruited for these jobs from the top colleges that are very, stringent with the entrance requirements. That actually enforces class. That actually keeps the casting system. And it's going to become more widespread. Now, it's interesting. It's not going to be based on race as much as people think it will be. Let me get that clear. It won't be based on race as much. One, you have an incredible mixing of the races anyway. So that caste system is going to come up more whatever your social class is, social standing. Right? Like right now, the 9.9 is overwhelmingly white, but you do have some blacks in there, some Hispanics, some Asians. It's definitely not the majority, a portion, but it's still going to be more about the caste. And then as you go down, it gets noticeably darker, but you have plenty of whites. You have tons of whites who are in that lower class, or that will be in that lower caste. Tons of them. I mean, that's what powered Trump into the presidency. And and that's also it's going to be something where people are going to relate more to class. Like, people talk a lot about interracial relationships, right? But I would challenge anybody, if you really pay attention, it's not so much the race thing. Now, even what it used to be, it's going to be more about the caste thing. Because in the area I lived in, I say it's more affluent. I've seen interracial relationships between more upper class whites and then also a few upper class blacks. I've seen it. I've seen the couples where they look a certain way, and you're gonna see that all the way down, and especially in a situation where roughly about 25 years, whites will be a minority. Well, they won't be the majority in the United States. Or even a plurality. They might have a plurality, but not a majority. But then you're going to see more, I'll say, racially mixed looking people. So the race thing is going out. I mean, you can look at it and tell, but it's still going to be an economic thing. It's still going to be a class thing. It's still going to be a health thing. Because one of the things that was pointed out in both the book and the Atlantic article that I read, people with more money can simply stay more healthy. They can afford it. They can afford to go to the dentist. They can afford real health care and good doctors who are going to give them some attention. It's a big difference. It's like they get a tooth crack or toothache or whatever. Please, they take care of that right away. Whereas somebody poor, shoot, that tooth come out, they get a tooth crack, they might have to just let that thing rot out. So it's coming though. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And one of the things that people who talk about mobility, upward mobility, they gotta take all these little things into account. They gotta take it into account. Now, I ain't gonna say it's good or bad. I'm just gonna say it is. And it's gonna affect everything, where people live, who they mate with, everything. So anyway, as always, something to think about. Anyway, get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.